TSA confronted them. A security breach was declared, but the women allegedly kept walking past TSA officers saying they were late for a flight, and they kept going, saying they were not going to wait for security. An alert was issued notifying of an incident. Police caught up to the women who continued to say they were late for a flight. They were allegedly not apologetic. Both women were arrested. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The Biden administration urging schools to order free COVID tests starting next month, part of an effort to contain the spread this winter. This is ABC News.
Build the custom home of your dreams with Adair Homes. Take advantage of their limited time offer of 4.875 interest rate with a 5.31 APR when you finance with Adair Financial Services. Visit ADAIRhomes.com to find out more. For well-qualified buyers, other restrictions apply. Visit AdairHomes.com for additional disclosures. Equal housing opportunity, Adair Financial Services, NMLS number 4586.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
It's Howard Clough in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening this Wednesday afternoon, November 29th. It'll soon become nearly impossible to install fossil-fueled appliances to heat homes and businesses in Washington state. Under new building code amendments adopted yesterday, builders would need to match the energy efficiency of heat pumps in order to install gas in new commercial and residential buildings. The new requirements go into effect as soon as March 15th, barring any additional legal challenges. Washington pressed pause on its original heat pump mandate earlier this year after a federal court overturned Berkeley, California's ban on gas in new buildings, and opponents filed similar challenges in Washington state. This week, the State Building Code Council approved a watered-down version of its original heat pump mandate. Rather than outright mandating electric heat pumps, it would make it more cumbersome and expensive for builders to meet energy efficiency targets without installing heat pumps. Echoing last month's incident at a Port Angeles City Council meeting, 3 people using profanity and hate speech called into Monday night's Sequim City Council meeting. The language strongly suggests the callers are white supremacists. All 3 were cut off at Mayor Tom Farrell's urging. City Manager Matt Hewish said he and his senior leadership, including the police chief and the mayor, had discussed the possibility that Sequim could be next after the Port Angeles event. Hewish says they were ready for when it happened. He says he's hoping it was a one-off event, and for now they're comfortable with handling it in the same way if the callers try again. Meantime, Lonnie Gores with the Clallam County Commissioner's Office tells us that she's unaware of any similar calls coming at any of the county meetings recently. Daytime travelers who use Highway 101 through Discovery Bay will want to build some extra time into their trips tomorrow. From about 9 till noon tomorrow, travelers can expect intermittent stops in both directions on Highway 101 at Discovery Bay. Expect wait times of up to 15 to 30 minutes as the State Department of Transportation maintenance teams take a look at a tree that is impinging along the roadway there. The type of work has to be done during daylight hours and with no traffic flowing through. More news after this.
Celebrate the magic of the season at Field Arts and Events Hall by securing your tickets for our upcoming holiday shows. From the timeless Nutcracker with Port Angeles City Ballet to the uproarious Queen's cartoonist Holiday Hurrah to the enchanting Evening of Wonders with the master illusionist Vitali. Find the perfect show for you and your family today at www.fieldhallevents.org or call 360-477-4679.
As leaves fall and temperatures drop, that means cold and flu season is here. But don't worry, the best defense is a good offense, and we have 2 ways to keep you healthy. First, regular hand washing can help keep cold and flu viruses at bay. Second, protect yourself and your loved ones by getting your flu shot. It's safe, it's effective, and it's your best bet against the flu. So, wash those hands, get a flu vaccine, and let's beat the cold and flu together. Brought to you by Olympic Medical Center.
I like to think of myself as a confident backseat driver. Mom, brakes please.
Gotcha.
But these days, I'm less confident in the economy.
Same here, buddy.
Thankfully, Leschwa Tires helps make sure that our safety never takes a backseat, even when we're watching our wallets. Time to turn, Mom.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
In other news, apparently there's been some cheating among those who purchase and use annual passes to get into the national park and other public lands. Now, park officials are adopting a new policy to deal with it. Starting the first of the year, the Interagency Annual Pass and the Olympic National Park Annual Pass will each contain a single signature line. Officials say this change will standardize passes across agencies and protect against misuse. Any Olympic Annual Pass or Interagency Annual Pass bought in 2023 with two signature lines will be honored until it expires. And passes with the two signature lines are going to be sold till the end of this year. Now, the Interagency Pass gets you access to federal parks, Fish and Wildlife, Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Reclamation, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers lands. The updated Interagency Pass will still grant the pass owner and all occupants in a personal vehicle access to sites that charge per vehicle. For those that charge per person, the new pass will grant access to the pass owner and up to 3 additional adults. Children ages 15 or under are admitted for free. Homeowner insurance companies leaving states like California and Florida represent a troubling trend, and it could be impacting Washington state as well. Eric Tegedoff has more on that.
David Fadul, an attorney in Seattle, says there's anecdotal evidence that people aren't seeing their policies renewed because of wildfire risk in parts of the state, but it's unclear how widespread this issue is. Fadul says the Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner, or OIC, does not track non-renewals in the state.
Without knowing the extent of the problem, where the problem is, and how it might affect us in the future if there was a wildfire, you can't really determine what we should be doing about it, if anything at all.
Fadul notes the OIC conducted a study on this in 2019, but hasn't made that study public. He says it's unclear how insurance companies make underwriting decisions, and whether they do it based on an entire community's risk for disasters like wildfire, or if it happens on a house-by-house basis.
There's a lot of things that folks can do to protect their homes against wildfires, and an insurance company using those broad strokes isn't taking those into account.
Fadul says there are steps state lawmakers can take to protect homeowners. For instance, California passed a law in 2021 that requires insurers to recognize and reward people who adopt fire safety measures. He says there are other steps they could take as well.
The OIC could require insurance companies to disclose the basis for non-renewals on a property-by-property basis, and then it would be pretty easy to look at those properties and determine, was this a legitimate reason to not renew this policy?
The 2024 legislative session is scheduled to begin on January 8th. I'm Eric Tegedoff.
This is News Radio KONP.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan & Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process, so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
Don't miss the 3rd annual Wintertide Festival of Lights, Saturday, December 9th, at the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center. Enjoy food and drink vendors. Lighted art will be illuminating the forest paths, a community lantern walk, interactive art stations, and a fire performance by returning performers Fractual Phase. Catch Wintertide Festival of Lights at the PA Fine Arts Center Saturday, December 9th. Also on December 9th, experience the thrill of live orchestral music with the PA Symphony's Holiday Concert, featuring the return of guitar virtuoso Colin Davin. For tickets, go to portangelessymphony.org or in person at Port Book and News. And don't forget the Carlsberg Family Church presenting the Living Nativity, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
Join parents and experts at Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
All Weather Heating and Cooling is your Mitsubishi authorized dealer. Mitsubishi electric heating and cooling systems offer efficient individual room control with allergen filtration, no ductwork, and dramatic energy savings. Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Systems. Live better. Contact All Weather Heating and Cooling today.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Mainly cloudy skies expected this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 44. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy tonight, scattered rain showers likely 35. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Scattered rain showers likely, high temperatures reach up to 44. Chance for scattered showers Friday and Saturday. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 43 degrees.
From ABC Sports, this is Rich Cantu. It was the last night of group play in the NBA's in-season tournament. Late fourth quarter in Sacramento. Kings-Warriors.
Herter swings to the right side to Monk. Attacks the baseline. Jab step. Now he keeps the dribble alive. Gets in the paint. Tough ball away. Bank shot is good. Malik Monk somehow banks it home. 7.4 seconds to go.
The call on KHTK. Malik Monk's bank shot with 7 seconds left lifted the Kings past the Warriors, 124-123. They advance to the quarterfinals where they will host the Pelicans. Bucks Heat tied at 118 in Miami.
Bucks need to work quickly now. 2 seconds to get a shot off. Middleton puts up a fading shot at the horn, and he drills it from the right corner.
The call on WTMJ, Chris Middleton put the Bucks up, and they never looked back, outscoring the Heat by 11 in the final frame. Bucks win 131-124. This is ABC Sports. More from the NBA in-season tournament. The Celtics won Group C in the East, destroying the Miserables 124-97. They play the Pacers next week in the quarterfinals. The Knicks needed to win big to get a shot at advancing as a wild card. Fourth quarter against the Hornets.
Quickly, almost a half-court three. Doesn't go, but Randall gets the rebound. Quickly's going to try again from the left block, and this one goes. 107-84.
The call on ESPN New York. Win big is exactly what the Knicks did, drubbing the Hornets 115-91 to advance to play the Bucks. T-Wolves over the Thunder, 106-103. Luka Doncic dropped 41. The Mavericks stopped the Rockets from advancing, 121-115. Owner Mark Cuban is nearing the sale of the team to the Adelson family. He would remain in control over all basketball decisions. NCAA men's top 25. Top-ranked Purdue crushed Texas Southern 99-67. Number 3 Marquette routed Southern 93-56. Fifth-ranked Kansas didn't make it look easy, but got by Eastern Illinois 71-63. Number 8 Miami on the road taking on 12th-ranked Kentucky in Lexington.
Shepard into the lane, goes right to the rim, banks it up and in. 21 for Reed Shepard.
The call on WLAP. Reed Shepard led the Wildcats with 21 points in the 95-73 drubbing of the Hurricanes. NHL, Toronto edged Florida 2-1 in a shootout. The Hurricanes beat the Flyers 4-1. This is Rich Cancer, ABC.
Turning to local sports, the Port Angeles Rough Rider bowling team earned its biggest win in the program's history, beating defending Olympic League champion and state power Clajoya 5-2 yesterday. Kendrick Rings bowled a personal best 141, as did Zoe Penn, throwing a 159. Abby Robinson bowled a game-high 169. Paige Pangaro threw a 156, and Zoe Van Gordon bowled a 134. The Rough Riders travel tomorrow to Bremerton. The Squim Wolves bowlers lost to Olympic 5-2. The Port Angeles Rough Rider girls basketball team opened up its season last night with a 56-38 win over Class 2B Forks. Casey Euland's Rough Rider boys basketball team opens its season tonight at home against the Sammamish Redhawks. The Redhawks coming off a 17-8 season that saw them finish second in the KingCo League with a trip to the state tournament in Yakima. It's a rebuilding season for the Redhawks, who lost their opener at Mercer Island last night, 56-38. The Rough Riders went 15-9 last year, 11-4 in the league, finishing second in the Olympic League, missing the Sweet 16 regional by just one game. The Riders' big issue last year, beating the full-court press against elite teams. Now, the Rough Riders have spent the last 11 months getting bigger, faster, and stronger. The 7 varsity players who did not play in a fall sport went through a grueling USA Olympic-type team conditioning program in the Rough Rider weight room. Players such as junior Gus Hallberg put on pounds of muscle, as did senior Isaiah Shamp, who trimmed down and looks good. In the backcourt, the Rough Riders will start 5'9" senior Kaysen Alba and point guard 5'11" junior Gus Hallberg. The forward spots will be held down by 6'5" senior Dallas Dunning and a very athletic 6'2" senior Parker Nickerson. 6'5" senior post Isaiah Shamp looks to be having an all-league season coming up. The Rough Riders bench is also full of some athletic bodies now, and there will be a Pete Carroll-type competition to earn any playing time. For the Rough Riders to make it back to Yakima this spring, their ability to manage full-court pressure will be critical. There's not another 2A team in the state, though, that works harder and understands the culture that it takes to get back to Yakima. Tonight's game will be right here on KONP. Our pregame show at 5. Ole Archibald and Bill Bates will have the play-by-play.
When the white stuff starts to fall, you know you can count on LS Tractor. LS has a subcompact or compact tractor with enough power, traction, and determination to fight off any snowstorm. Push it, blow it, move the snow out of here with LS snow handling implements. Meet winter head on with LS Tractor. Ask your local dealer about the LS Blue Ad Implement Program today.
Find the perfect LS tractor for you at Leets Farm Supply in Sequim. Locally owned and operated, call Leets at 360-452-1400.
LS Tractor, simply more.
You know Mountain Dew is like no other soft drink on earth. That's because Mountain Dew is the boldest soft drink the world has ever seen. Today, Mountain Dew, the most iconic flavor in the history of soft drinks, has spawned a new generation of outrageously craveable flavors that share its glory, like Mountain Dew Major Melon, Mountain Dew Code Red, Mountain Dew Spark, Mountain Dew Voltage, and Mountain Dew Livewire. So here's to the neon royalty of Dew and the Dew flavors that have come after it, the boldest flavors on earth.
12:20 now.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Inflation is taking a toll on consumer spending and, by extension, on the economy. A Federal Reserve survey finds consumers are cutting back on purchases of items like furniture and appliances. They continue to spend on travel and tourism. Wall Street is trimming its gains following the Fed report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average now up 65. The S&P is up a point. The Nasdaq down 2 points. J.P. Morgan Chase says artificial intelligence is starting to produce revenue for the bank. Its chief data officer says J.P. Morgan uses AI to augment the work done by people. CEO Jamie Dimon says AI could reduce the work week to just 3.5 days. They wish it had done better. Disney's Wish landed with a thud last weekend, delivering half of its expected ticket sales. It's a high-profile miss for the company that practically invented animated princess movies. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
Check on the roads and traffic this noon hour next. Brought to you this time out by Angela's Furniture and The Blind Store by McCrory.
You'll see Black Friday sales galore, but there's one sale you don't want to miss. And you don't have to, because at Angela's Furniture, their Black Friday sale lasts until December 4th. Get the refreshing sleep you deserve this holiday season on your new Beauty Rest Black mattress. You'll save up to $900 on select mattresses. And you'll also save up to $900 on a Serta iComfort Eco Hybrid mattress. So many choices and so much comfort awaits you at Angela's Furniture this holiday season.
Updating the blinds in your house shouldn't be a hassle, but all too often when ordering from box stores, there's a lot of guessing about measurements and what may look decent in the house. Avoid that feeling by purchasing your new blinds with McCrory. Let the experts assist in the style and functionality you need. Measure perfectly right now, installed for free. Plus, through December 18th, all blinds are 25% off. Shop the Blind Store by McCrory in Sequim.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center now. That's where Steve's standing by. He's got an eye on things for us this noon hour out there on the roads. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, kind of busy out there this afternoon. If you're making your way around either Port Angeles or Sequim, most of the main roads, a lot of traffic moving along pretty close to the speed limit. Some slowdowns at the stoplights, some of the intersections. But overall, we're doing pretty good out there. If you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, it's busy out there. Just a lot of traffic. It is moving along at the speed limit, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. If you're headed beyond Sequim, Hood Canal Bridge, good to go with no scheduled marine openings this afternoon. And currently, state ferries are running on time today. West End traffic, 101 headed out to Forks. We're in good shape. Things are looking pretty good out that way. Shouldn't be in too many problems out that way. A little construction here and there moving along the highway, but really not causing much of a delay at all. just light traffic or light to moderate traffic, and for the most part, you're moving along at the speed limit out there. So everybody take care. Be safe out there this afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Glallam Transit for KONP.
And thanks, Steve. We'll get another update from you about a half hour from now. After taking a hit during the pandemic, U.S. life expectancies have begun to climb again. That's from a new CDC report. ABC's Dave Packer has a look.
Between 2021 and 2022, U.S. life expectancy increasing by over a year. That comes after declines during the pandemic. Infants born in 2022 will live on average 77.5 years. But that doesn't completely make up for the 2.4-year decline in life expectancy brought on by the pandemic. Women live 5.4 years longer than men, but that gap closing. Americans of Asian descent live the longest, 84.5 years. Native American populations experiencing the lowest life expectancy, just 67.9 years. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Billionaire Richard Branson not cutting back on fat. He's actually using it to fuel his planes. The Virgin Atlantic owner sent a Boeing 787 Dreamliner called Flight 100 across the pond on a purely high-fat, low-emissions fuel early this morning. Out of London's Heathrow Airport, it landed at JFK in New York City just a few hours ago. Branson bragged before takeoff that the commercial airliner, fueled by 70 tons of cooking oils and animal fat, was a first for his company, but hopefully not the last.
Well, today, Flight 100 is flying from London to New York on sustainable fuel, and that's a first and very exciting.
The sustainable aviation fuel reduces greenhouse gas emissions by about 70%, and it has worked in previous flights over the past few years as well.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
If and when you can afford it, taking a vacation is good for your brain and your mental health. It's not just the time you're physically out of town that's so rewarding, it's also the time before and after your trip. You see, every day we work and raise our kids and do any of the countless things we're responsible for in our everyday lives, we are subjecting ourselves to more stress. Now, acute stress can be good. It can be motivational, it can inspire you, make you healthier even. But chronic stress, not good. Vacations, research shows, can help us reduce our chronic stress levels. You can almost feel some of your stress melt away before your trip. While you're gone, hopefully you're able to hit pause as much as you can on your work and your chores and your responsibilities. When you're back to the daily grind, hit pause when you need to remember your trip and allow it to recharge you in the moment. Make that vacation last. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
You and your family deserve the best. And with Eggland's Best, that's what you get. Their eggs are tasty and nutritious with 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. They're also available in classic, cage-free, organic, and hard-cooked liquid and frozen varieties. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. For more information and delicious recipes, visit egglandsbest.com.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. As we all work to complete our Christmas tasks, our gift buying, our packages, our letters to Santa, best we remember one very important office. I'll tell you which office after this important message.
Hello, this is Kelly Stewart. Have you started your shopping for Christmas yet? This year, we're giving you a fun way to do your shopping. Order early and get all this for $21.95 plus $6 shipping and handling. A copy of today's program on CD, a second full-length program, Overcoming, on CD, a written copy of today's program signed by Jerry. Get this great special for only $27.95. Order now by calling 817-995-6965, or you can go online at our website to order at www.jerrystewartusa.com. That number again, 817-995-6965, or online at jerrystewartusa.com. So don't wait. Get your Christmas shopping done now. Happy Thanksgiving.
I think it's safe to say that during the Christmas season, our most important office is the post office. According to statistics, today in America, our U.S. Post Office delivers hundreds of millions of letters and packages every day to over 8 million businesses and 250 million American homes. In 1775, when Benjamin Franklin became our first Postmaster General, could he have ever imagined? By the way, I do hear a lot of complaining about the mail, but don't you most always get your mail on time, delivered by a kind and friendly postal person? This Christmas, tell your postal deliverer thank you. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. Some counties reported average voter turnout for this most recent election. Others slightly down, others slightly up. But no one reported like King County. Just over 1/3 of registered voters cast the ballot in this past November 7th election. It's the lowest recorded voter turnout in modern history for the county. Turnout was slightly higher in Seattle, where 46% of voters cast the ballot, which was down 54% from 2019. A 14-year-old boy faces serious charges in connection with Tuesday's discovery of a pair of handguns inside Kamiakin High School. Kennewick police say school security and the department's school resource officer were told about a student on school grounds with a possible firearm. The student was contacted, secured, and searched. Detectives say security officers found 2 handguns with loaded magazines inside the teen's backpack. Police booked the boy into the Benton Franklin Juvenile Justice Center. There are felony charges against a 30-year-old Kashmir man accused of assaulting his mother during a domestic dispute. Deputies say an emergency room doctor told them the mother of Santiago Pina Corona could have an eye amputated and had suffered permanent disfigurement. Chelan County prosecutors charged the man yesterday with felony first-degree assault. He's suspected of using brass knuckles to beat his mother, who was flown to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle because of the damage to her eye. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app or visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. International mediators appear to have made progress on extending the truce in Gaza. They're encouraging the territory's Hamas rulers to keep freeing hostages in return for the release of Palestinian prisoners and further relief from Israel's air and ground offensive. The deal will otherwise expire within a day, ahead of a swap of 10 terrorist-held hostages for 30 Palestinian prisoners planned today. Hamas handed over 2 Russian Israelis, according to the Israeli military. Israel has welcomed the release of dozens of hostages in recent days and says it will maintain the truce if Hamas keeps freeing captives. Ukraine's foreign minister insists that NATO allies are showing no sign of war fatigue and remain committed to helping his country defend itself against Russia. Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba told the Associated Press that President Vladimir Putin is miscalculating it if he sees any value in keeping his forces in Ukraine at least until presidential elections in the U.S. in late 2024. More than 650 days into the war, fighting between Russia and Ukraine has bogged down. Ukraine's Western backers struggle to provide enough weapons and ammunition. General Motors says lost production of 95,000 vehicles due to the United Auto Workers walkouts cost them $1.1 billion. But due to $2 billion worth of annual efficiency gains and cost reductions, The company said it can handle $9.3 billion in labor cost increases expected through April of 2028. Stocks are higher. The Dow is up 81 points now, and the NASDAQ adding 6 points. More at townhall.com.
Actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Myanmar and China conducting naval drills together as the military government in the southeast nation loses ground in the northeast to a coalition of armed ethnic militias. It is also, they have the strong ties to Beijing. 41 construction workers emerging dazed and smiling late Tuesday from a collapsed tunnel where they had been stranded for the last 17 days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to some of the rescued workers over the phone. He praised their courage and the rescue effort and said they were an inspiration to everyone. All 41 workers made it through the ordeal in good health. Toyota selling a part of its stake in components maker Denso to raise cash for its drive toward electric vehicles and other innovations. Japan's top automaker said that the move is estimated to raise about $2 billion. News and analysis at townhall.com. House lawmakers from both parties moving to force a vote this week on the expulsion of Representative George Santos, a Republican from New York. Santos has responded by asking colleagues to think about what kind of precedent it would set for him to be removed before federal charges against him are resolved. He's making it clear he will not be resigning beforehand. California Representative Robert Garcia, a Democrat, moved first Thursday to force an expulsion vote on Santos. Authorities say an explosion at an auto repair shop in Ohio has left 3 people dead, another person hospitalized. That Tuesday afternoon blast in Hillsboro, Ohio, sparked a massive fire that engulfed the building and spewed thick black smoke. It was visible for miles. The cause of the explosion remains under investigation. More details at townhallnews.com.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
It's Howard Clough in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening this Wednesday afternoon, November 29th. It'll soon become nearly impossible to install fossil-fueled appliances to heat homes and businesses in Washington state. Under new building code amendments adopted yesterday, builders would need to match the energy efficiency of heat pumps in order to install gas in new commercial and residential buildings. The new requirements go into effect as soon as March 15th, barring any additional legal challenges. Washington pressed pause on its original heat pump mandate earlier this year after a federal court overturned Berkeley, California's ban on gas in new buildings, and opponents filed similar challenges in Washington state. This week, the State Building Code Council approved a watered-down version of its original heat pump mandate. Rather than outright mandating electric heat pumps, it would make it more cumbersome and expensive for builders to meet energy efficiency targets without installing heat pumps. Echoing last month's incident at a Port Angeles City Council meeting, 3 people using profanity and hate speech called into Monday night's Sequim City Council meeting. The language strongly suggests the callers are white supremacists. All 3 were cut off at Mayor Tom Farrell's urging. City Manager Matt Hewish said he and his senior leadership, including the police chief and the mayor, had discussed the possibility that Sequim could be next after the Port Angeles event. Hewish says they were ready for when it happened. He says he's hoping it was a one-off event, and for now they're comfortable with handling it in the same way if the callers try again. Meantime, Lonnie Gores with the Clallam County Commissioner's Office tells us that she's unaware of any similar calls coming at any of the county meetings recently. Daytime travelers who use Highway 101 through Discovery Bay will want to build some extra time into their trips tomorrow. From about 9 till noon tomorrow, travelers can expect intermittent stops in both directions on Highway 101 at Discovery Bay. Expect wait times of up to 15 to 30 minutes as the State Department of Transportation maintenance teams take a look at a tree that is impinging along the roadway there. The type of work has to be done during daylight hours and with no traffic flowing through. In other news, apparently there's been some cheating among those who purchase and use annual passes to get into the national park and other public lands. Now, park officials are adopting a new policy to deal with it. Starting the first of the year, the Interagency Annual Pass and the Olympic National Park Annual Pass will each contain a single signature line. Officials say this change will standardize passes across agencies and protect against misuse. Any Olympic Annual Pass or Interagency Annual Pass bought in 2023 with two signature lines will be honored until it expires. And passes with the two signature lines are going to be sold till the end of this year. Now, the Interagency Pass gets you access to federal parks, Fish and Wildlife, Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Reclamation, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers lands. The updated Interagency Pass will still grant the pass owner and all occupants in a personal vehicle access to sites that charge per vehicle. For those that charge per person, the new pass will grant access to the pass owner and up to 3 additional adults. Children ages 15 or under are admitted for free. Homeowner insurance companies leaving states like California and Florida represent a troubling trend, and it could be impacting Washington state as well. Eric Tegedoff has more on that.
David Fadul, an attorney in Seattle, says there's anecdotal evidence that people aren't seeing their policies renewed because of wildfire risk in parts of the state, but it's unclear how widespread this issue is. Fadul says the Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner, or OIC, does not track non-renewals in the state.
Without knowing the extent of the problem, where the problem is, and how it might affect us in the future if there was a wildfire, you can't really determine what we should be doing about it, if anything at all.
Fadul notes the OIC conducted a study on this in 2019, but hasn't made that study public. He says it's unclear how insurance companies make underwriting decisions, and whether they do it based on an entire community's risk for disasters like wildfire, or if it happens on a house-by-house basis.
There's a lot of things that folks can do to protect their homes against wildfires, and an insurance company using those broad strokes isn't taking those into account.
Fadul says there are steps state lawmakers can take to protect homeowners. For instance, California passed a law in 2021 that requires insurers to recognize and reward people who adopt fire safety measures. He says there are other steps they could take as well.
The OIC could require insurance companies to disclose the basis for non-renewals on a property-by-property basis, and then it would be pretty easy to look at those properties and determine, was this a legitimate reason to not renew this policy?
The 2024 legislative session is scheduled to begin on January 8th. I'm Eric Tegedoff.
This is Newsradio KONP.
This is Jonathan Pasternak, Artistic Director of the Port Angeles Symphony. Join me and 65 of our community's finest musicians for the Symphony's annual holiday concert, Saturday, December 9th at the Port Angeles Performing Arts Center. Come experience the thrill of live orchestral music while enjoying festive and seasonal selections, plus the return of our Christmas Carol sing-along. Our special guest artist will be guitar virtuoso Colin Davin, performing Joaquin Rodrigo's Fantasia para un Gentilhombre. Our holiday concert on Saturday, December 9th is the Port Angeles Symphony's most popular concert of the year, so don't miss out. Get your tickets today, online at portangelessymphony.org, by phone at 457-5579, or in person at Port Book and News in downtown Port Angeles. See you at the Symphony.
Hi everyone, it's Leslie Robertson for the Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce, and the Community Awards nominations for 2023 are now open. So if you know a person, a business, or an organization that has gone above and beyond over the past year, please visit portangeles.org and make a nomination. And don't forget to mark your calendars for February 3rd for the Community Awards Gala, which will be at Field Arts and Events Hall this year. where all finalists will be honored and the winners will be announced. Nominations will be open until December 11th. Don't forget, the Winter Ice Village is open from November 17th until January 2nd. We have new hours of noon until 9 p.m., but we're still open daily. And don't forget to sign your waiver before you come down. The rink runs on volunteer power, and we're always in need of volunteers. It's a lot of fun, and for every shift that you help, you get a free skate pass. You can get information on all of this on our website, wintericevillage.com.
For 12 years now, in downtown Port Angeles, there's been one place you can count on for great food, awesome service, and a prime cocktail or craft brew. Next Door Gastropub isn't just service with a smile and a pretty plate of food. It's consistent quality and a happy team of staff members that feel more like family than business. For a unique menu, chill atmosphere, and a place that lives up to the hype, make your lunch or dinner plans and head down to Next Door Gastropub today. Visit our Facebook page for fall hours.
Give yourself a gift you'll enjoy every day. A new bath or shower from Bathfitter. With zero interest, zero payments until 2025, you can shower everyone on your list with gifts. Hi, it's Ursula Royteen. In as little as one day, have a new tub, safe walk-in shower, or tub-to-shower conversion. After nearly 40 years and 40,000 local remodels, locally owned Bathfitter Northwest is the tub and shower expert. A gift of a gorgeous bathroom? Bathfitter. Visit bathfitternw.com.
Check on the weather forecast. Clouding up the rest of the day today. Look for highs in the 40s and cloudy with some rain overnight tonight. Lows will be in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, breezy, rain likely in the morning, and then rain redeveloping in the afternoon. Look for highs to be in the 40s and variable winds increasing to about 25 miles per hour by later in the afternoon Thursday. Thursday night, rain at times in the evening, then rain likely again after midnight. Lows will be in the 30s and southwest winds to 20 miles per hour. The rain continues on Friday at times, maybe up to a half inch possibly on Friday. Highs will be in the 40s, and look for some gusty south winds to 30 miles per hour early in the day Friday. Friday night, more rain, lows in the upper 30s. Rain at times on Saturday, highs in the mid 40s to lower 50s. Rain continues into Saturday night with lows in the mid to upper 30s. And yep, more rain on the way for Sunday, highs in the low 50s. Back to work Monday with rain at times and highs in the low to mid 50s. And the rain continues into Tuesday next week, too, with highs in the low to mid 50s. Currently, we have some clouds across the peninsula right now. In Port Townsend, it's 41. Out west at Forks, it's also 41. 42 in Sequim. 44 now in downtown Port Angeles. And at the airport, it's 45.
Saving on your home improvement projects is almost as important as the service you should receive. With Angelus Millwork, Angelus Rentals, and Hartnagel Building Supply, you can always depend on superior customer service. But did you know that your favorite employee-owned stores have monthly product specials, coupons, and sales? Monthly specials on products that you need now are handpicked so you can save up to 30% when you need it the most. When headed to your mailbox, look for the Valpak envelope with special coupons from all our stores. Angelus Rentals, the only full-service tool rental company in Port Angeles, features a different tool each month that is 25% off. In closing, visit angelusmillwork.com for the latest sale information. We have annual sales on power tools, paint and stain, decking, wood pellets, and more. What we're trying to drive home is there's always a promotion going on, so come see us often or find out more online at angelusmillwork.com. Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply. Building homes, building community since 1906.
The 2024 KONP Home Show is back. We are now accepting vendor applications for the largest two-day marketing event on the peninsula. Put your business in the middle of thousands of potential clients. Booths start at just $450. The KONP Home Show will be Saturday and Sunday, March 9th and 10th, 2024. Sign up now for best locations and to lock in the lower rates. Call 360-457-1450 and get your space for the 39th annual KONP Home Show.
Here's a look at what's happening. The JBC Christmas Joy Craft Fair is coming up Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It'll be in the gym behind the Joyce Bible Church. North Olympic Library System invites community members to enjoy live performances and view artwork during World AIDS Day. Art in the Library. The exhibition opens on Friday, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Port Angeles Main Library. The Fullness of Joy Floral Holiday Bazaar is happening on Friday evening from 5 to 9 p.m. and Saturday from 9 to 4 p.m. This will be happening at the Coffee Box in Port Angeles. Some 35 vendors there. Pancakes with Santa is this Saturday at the Port Angeles Elks Naval Lodge. A full pancake breakfast with egg, sausage, and fruit. Pictures with Santa, door prizes, coloring sheets, music performances. $15 for an adult ticket, 17 and up, and $10 for a child's ticket, ages 3 to 16. 2 years and under are free. Get tickets now at the YMCA, Angelos Electric, and the Play Cafe, as well as at the door. This goes from 8:30 till noon at the Elks Naval Lodge in Port Angeles. It's a fundraiser for the YMCA Youth and Government Program. North Olympic Library System hosting a 2-hour crossword contest starting at 10 a.m. sharp this Saturday at the Port Angeles branch of the library. Compete in teams of 2 or work alone to solve crossword clues while racing the clock to earn some prizes. The Carlsberg Family Church presents The Living Nativity. It's a free live outdoor portrayal of the Christmas story in 6 scenes with 21 actors and live animals. 481 Carlsberg Road. It's going to be December 1st, 2nd, 3rd. 4 40-minute showings at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 7 p.m. They'll also have hot chocolate and cookies in the church. Now, you need to park at Grey Wolf Elementary School and ride their shuttle nearby. No parking at the church or in the surrounding roads there. Squim Prairie Grange Holiday Craft Fair is this Saturday. It goes 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Squim Prairie Grange. And that's a look at what's happening.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar asks, ever wonder what it would be like to live in an alternate universe? One where everything seems to work just the opposite of the way you'd expect? Well, friends, welcome to the alternate universe of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Mountain Dew Zero Sugar defies all the odds of the normal physics of flavor, because even though it says zero sugar right there on the bottle, when you crack one open, the taste is nothing less than outrageously delicious. Hey, transport yourself to an alternate universe with Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Zero sugar, all dew.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Well, Walt Disney is no longer considering selling the company's traditional TV channels like ABC and FX. That is according to CEO Bob Iger. He spoke at the New York Times Deal Book Summit. Iger, who returned to run the company a year ago following the dismissal of his successor, Bob Chapek, had floated the idea of a sale of those assets over the summer. Big possible merger brewing in the healthcare industry. Sources say Cigna and Humana are in talks about a potential cash and stock combination to create another giant in the healthcare industry. The United Auto Workers is launching simultaneous public organizing campaigns at more than a dozen automakers, including Toyota, Volkswagen, and Tesla. It's an audacious effort to capitalize on recent contract victories with Detroit's big 3 automakers. And Tesla will be delivering its first Cybertruck tomorrow, and it could be tough on the automaker with a lot of bumps expected in the road ahead. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a check on the traffic next, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Olympic Medical Center.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is having their traditional Pictures with Santa, Saturday, December 2nd from 10 to 2. Santa will be on hand to take pictures with the kids, with you, or with any of your pets that you can get there. And bring your appetite because Southern Nibbles will be in the parking lot dishing up the food. All donations collected will be going to the Clallam County Junior Livestock Auction. Don't miss Pictures with Santa, Saturday, December 2nd from 10 to 2 at Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Squim.
When every second counts, you need the best care. Olympic Medical Center's emergency department is making significant updates to ensure you receive faster, more efficient care. A streamlined process means you'll receive expert attention from our healthcare team starting the moment you're triaged. OMC is also the only Level 3 trauma center on the North Olympic Peninsula, meaning we're prepared to quickly handle true emergencies and traumas when they arrive. Learn more about what we're doing at olympicmedical.org/emergency updates.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Right up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go now. That is where Steve's standing by with one last look at the noontime commute for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, a little bit busy out there, both Port Angeles and Squim area. Traffic, just a lot of cars out there. Things are moving along pretty smoothly. Little slowdowns at the stoplights and some of the main streets, especially coming into Port Angeles, both First Street and Front Street. A little slowdowns there at the stoplights, so be prepared for that. If you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Squim, we're looking good. It is busy out there, but traffic is moving along pretty close to the speed limit all the way. Should be a fine trip for you. If you're headed beyond Squim, Hood Canal Bridge right now, good to go. No scheduled marine openings so far this afternoon. Also, state ferries are running on time today. So if you're headed out to the west end, 101, we're in good shape all the way out to the Forks area. Just light to moderate traffic right now. Things seem to be moving along pretty well out there. Roads in good shape and shouldn't have any problems. Should be a good trip for you. So everybody take care. Be safe out there this afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clown Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. It's a top tourist and pop culture destination in Cleveland. Now it has a new owner. The Christmas Story House is on the market for over a year. Now it is official. Joshua Dickerson will be taking over operations as the new owner and managing partner. Now, Brian Jones, who bought the house nearly 20 years ago and turned it into a museum honoring his favorite movie, will step back as a silent partner with Dickerson taking over. Dickerson is a lifelong Clevelander who has been with the house and the Red Ryder Legs Lamps, a side company connected with the property, for some 16 years. And for visitors like Mike Bowling, that is great news.
I'm just glad it should always be in the hands of the family if it can be, and just continue the tradition with the movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, so the museum's going to continue on there. These Barbies designed the sets for the highest-grossing film of the year. Sarah Greenwood and Katie Spencer, the production designer and set decorator on Greta Gerwig's Barbie, spent endless days perfecting the look and feel of Barbieland. But as they told ABC, not every painstakingly crafted detail made it into the final product, including a doll-sized Mojo Dojo Casa house.
There was a scene in a real house in America with a little boy playing with the Ken doll's house, which in fact you do see the Ken doll's house is being loaded onto the Ken Mojo Dojo Casa house, being loaded onto the lorries, right? And you see the packaging. But we actually made a set and made a doll's version of
the Dream House.
As Ken.
Mac users have always been insulated from the worst computer malware because there were so many more Windows machines to infect than Macs. But those days are over. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. Post a job for free and find qualified candidates quickly at linkedin.com/Kim. Clear Flack is the most dangerous Mac attack yet. A pop-up notification suddenly appears telling you to upgrade your web browser immediately. Click on the box, and you're taken to a fraudulent but realistic download page for Safari or Chrome. But what actually gets downloaded is an infected copy. It looks and acts just like Safari or Chrome, but in the background, it's stealing all your contacts, email lists, financial data, past credit card transactions, literally everything. Never use a pop-up window. Always close what you're doing and then make a fresh start at the real Safari or Chrome website. There you'll find out if you really do need to upgrade, and if so, you'll get the real thing. Hey, you can win a brand new iPhone 15 valued at $800. Enter right now at commando.com/win. You have a lot of places to get your tech news. I know that. But there's only one website that tells you what the tech news means to you, and that's my site, commando.com. Every day, you'll find breaking tech news, security alerts, along with really useful tips and product reviews. Tens of millions of people just like you visit my site, and I'd love for you to become a regular. I bet you learn one great thing each day at commando.com. And at my site, you also get early access to my USA Today columns, too. And to make things easier on your busy life, sign up for my free newsletters that get delivered right to your inbox. You can pick and choose what you're interested in, whether that's smartphones or smart homes, Windows or Mac. And this way, you only get the know-how that you want. And I'll never, ever send you spam because I value you and your inbox. At commando.com, there are links at the top of the page to get my free newsletters. And also, send me a personal message. Go now while you're thinking about it. That's commando.com, KOMANDO.com.
For What It's Worth, I'm Sherry Preston. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis, her husband Matt Hansen, and their daughter Isabel just welcomed Leo, the newest member of their family. But it wasn't an easy journey.
I did IVF to get pregnant with Isabel, and before her, I had done 7 rounds of IVF in order to have her.
A few years later, the couple wanted another child.
2 years ago, we had just experienced another miscarriage in the IVF journey, and that catalyzed the search for another route.
They lost a pregnancy at 5 months and asked their doctors about their options.
Our doctors said surrogacy is your best path forward.
Surrogacy is something they never considered, but they embraced the path. Now they say they're grateful and hope they can help other couples.
It was truly magical.
For What It's Worth, I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Hey kids, it's me, Santa. Get ready, because I'll be in town for the 16th annual KONP Breakfast with Santa, Saturday, December 9th. Enter to win a chance to have a yummy breakfast served up by the elves at Cocopelli Grill, while I hand out fantastic toys brought to us by our presenting sponsors and very good boys and girls at Black Ball Ferry, Peninsula Bottling, Olympic Game Farm, Leeds Farm Supply, and Field Arts and Events Hall. Here's my pal Rhonda, a reindeer in training, to tell you more.
Thanks, Santa. Adults, enter your child age 8 and under to win 4 tickets to the Breakfast with Santa at the Port Angeles Senior Center. All winners will be notified by December 4th. Doors open at 8 with yummy breakfast at 8:30. Enter now, because Santa's on his way.
Enter your child at Angeles Millwork and Lumber Company, First Street Chevron, and Foghorn Olive Oil.
Online at myclallamcounty.com. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles, Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. 2 Russian-Israeli dual nationals that have been held in Gaza have already been released today by Hamas on the 6th day of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire. A total of about 12 hostages expected to be released by the end of the day.
They might be the final hostages released unless those negotiators in Qatar working round the clock, including CIA Director Burns, can hammer out an extension to this deal. And the big question, will any of the 9 American citizens still believed held in Gaza be on that list? We understand that 2 of them are women and should be eligible, one in her 40s, one in her 70s.
ABC's Matt Gutman in Jerusalem. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he'll leave it up to fellow Republicans to decide how they should vote on a resolution to expel New York Republican George Santos. That's now expected to happen on Friday.
The House Speaker says he worries about setting a bad precedent.
I personally have real reservations about doing this.
Mike Johnson notes George Santos hasn't been convicted. His trial on counts ranging from wire fraud to identity theft is still pending. But Santos's fellow New York Republican and GOP conference chair Elise Stefanik has seen enough.
And this is a matter of, right and wrong.
Now that the Ethics Committee has found Santos stole from his campaign to fund his personal expenses, Stefanik says she believes the House will vote to expel him. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
In Pueblo, Colorado, President Biden touring a wind tower manufacturing plant, delivering remarks on the economy and clean energy.
When I think climate, and I mean this sincerely, I think jobs. That's what climate's about. Not only saving lives and saving the environment, but jobs.
A U.S. military Osprey aircraft has gone down off the coast of southern Japan. 6 people were on board. At least 1 body has been found. The Osprey with a troubled past. In August, 3 Marines were killed in an Osprey crash during an exercise in Australia. And last year, 9 Marines killed in Ospreys, 5 in a training mission in California, 4 others in Norway during NATO exercises. You're listening to ABC News.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
In Memphis today, a news conference with the mother of a 17-year-old black teen who died after an incident at the youth home where she lived. Witnesses claim a Legend Jones was assaulted and choked at the Bartlett, Tennessee group facility before being taken to the hospital. Her mother, Shauna Gardner.
I sent her to Youth Village to get help, and now they're sending my baby back in a casket.
Attorney Ben Crump.
We're going to get to the truth so we can get justice for a legend.
Michael Jackson's Beat It video just hit 1 billion views on YouTube.
The video is iconic. Two gangs about to clash. What they're fighting about, we don't know. But their leaders have their arms tied together while each tries to stab the other with a switchblade. That is until Michael Jackson comes in his red leather jacket and brings peace to the warehouse by leading the men in a choreographed dance. The Beat It video, now the third Michael Jackson video to hit 1 billion views on YouTube after Billie Jean and They Don't Care About Us. Surprisingly, Thriller hasn't hit the milestone, but it's close, about 50 million views away. The Thriller album, which Beat It is on, turned 41 Wednesday. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
The North American wolverine would get federal protections under a new White House proposal. Scientists warning climate change will probably melt the animal's snowy habitats. There are only about 300 wolverines left in the lower 48. They live in the northern Rocky Mountains. This is ABC News.
The holiday season is right around the corner, so give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Give them a Stihl. With powerful trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws to place under the tree, the Stihl Holiday Gift Guide has something for everyone. Save $30 on the BG56 CE handheld blower. Visit your local Stihl dealer or go to stihlusa.com/gift guide. Real Stihl. Find yours. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Olympic Garage Door, serving the community since 2008. We have a new showroom between Squim and Port Angeles, and it's open to you Monday through Friday. We're dedicated to providing the highest quality customer service. For our residential and commercial customers, mention this ad and get $20 off your next garage door service. Not valid with any other offer. Come see our brand new showroom, Olympic Garage Door, located at 259-403 Highway 101 in Squim.
Your finish comes first at First Race.
For some people, their car is their most prized possession. Show you care with a gift certificate for high-quality Union 76 gas and car washes from First Race Car Wash. Gift certificates start at $5. First Race Car Wash at First and Race.
You're a winner every time when you've got that First Race shine. Ooh, your finish comes first at First Race.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. Echoing last month's incident at a Port Angeles City Council meeting, 3 people using profanity and hate speech called into Monday night's Squim City Council meeting. The language strongly suggested again the callers were white supremacists. All 3 were then cut off at Mayor Tom Farrell's urging. City Manager Matt Hewitt said he and his senior leadership, including the police chief and the mayor, discussed the possibility that the Squim City Council could be next after the Port Angeles event. They say they were ready for it when it happened. Lonnie Gores with the Clallam County Commissioner's Office tells us she's unaware of any such calls coming in at any of the Clallam County meetings so far.
Here's your Newsradio KONP forecast. Mainly cloudy skies expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 44. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy tonight, scattered rain showers likely 35. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Scattered rain showers likely, high temperatures reach up to 44. Chance for scattered showers Friday and Saturday. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 43 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Welcome once again to our program. A bit of a follow-up in our first segment today. One of my favorite guests, Dana Lawson, is joining me. Dana's got quite a story. If you've been a regular listener of this program, you know all about her. She is a domestic abuse survivor. She is also a cancer survivor. And not only is she a cancer survivor, she's an amputee who's run marathons and continues to do great things. And if that wasn't enough, in the last few years, she's founded Unbounded Horizons, which really is based on her story in many ways. She's putting to use a lot of the things that she's learned in becoming a survivor through all of this and passing it on to folks. And it was time to get a bit of an update on that group as well. So, Dana, first of all, it looked great. Thanks for coming in. Always wonderful to have you.
Thanks so much for having me back. And wow, what an honor of one of your favorite guests.
Well, you know.
Thank you.
Are. So let's talk, for those who know nothing about Unbounded, I'll let you define what your nonprofit's all about.
Sure. It's an amazing program where we provide support for trauma survivors and no specific type of trauma. Although, as you mentioned, I am a domestic violence survivor. We serve all different types of trauma. So whether you've experienced childhood trauma, chronic illness, you name it. At the end of the day, I think all of us that went through the pandemic can say now that we've experienced
in some ways,
trauma.
Right? Yeah.
So none of us are immune to that type of experience, and it really can take a toll on our mental health and also really affect our physical body, because trauma really does reside within our body. It affects our nervous system and causes a lot of nervous system dysregulation. So there's a lot of work to do to recover from trauma, and the beauty of that is that the body is a dynamic organ, if you will, and so we can continue to change it. And so that's really the foundation of the work that we do with Unbounded Horizons, is to connect with trauma survivors in different capacities, to be able to teach them about what's happened as far as their experiences with trauma, and help to provide resiliency tools so that they can continue to manage and regulate their nervous system.
And a lot of that you plug into just our beautiful area. We've talked about this in the past, kind of a perfect healing sort of place. So you get people out into nature. That's part of the program, right?
That is a big part of the program, a third of what we do. So we essentially have 3 different modalities that we use to achieve the goals of our programs. The first one being the nature connection that you just mentioned. There's over 200, 300 different scientific studies out there that demonstrate just being outside in nature for a short period of time can reduce your stress hormones. So nature connection is a huge part of it. Education, as I alluded to earlier, just understanding how trauma interfaces with the landscape of our body and our nervous system so that we can regulate and normalize the experiences that we have related to our traumatic experience. So that's a really important piece, the education. And then last but not least is embodiment work. And that sounds like a fancy word for really what it means is getting back within our bodies. When we experience trauma, it has a tendency, again, with our nervous system dysregulation. It causes us to kind of get stuck in our head, and we get very disconnected from what's going on within our body. And so it's really important to practice different ways, whether it's through breath work or gentle movement or sound therapy, to get that trauma moving through our body and get that connection reestablished.
All right. You've had a busy 2023, and you provided a few notes of things you want to touch with. I'm just going to tick down. You've got a new website, and that's actually an important thing, because that's a big way of you reaching out to a lot of folks that could use your help.
Definitely. It's an important evolution for us, because besides us just being able to offer the services through retreats and support groups, and also I am a credentialed advocate, so I can go with folks through the court system if need be to help advocate for them as they navigate that system. But also on our website, we have resources. We've got a blog. We've got places that you can go to help find therapists, resources, literature, a book list, and all types of information to assist folks that have experienced trauma.
All right. Your website again is?
unboundedhorizons.org. O-R-G.
There you go. Now, you did a lot of retreats this past year, I understand, and that's core to kind of what you do at these retreats.
Yes, we're fortunate enough to partner with Nature Bridge, another amazing nonprofit in our community, and we're able to use the campus when students are not there. So typically on the weekends during the school year, and then over the summer, we're able to be there during the week. And this past year, we were able to increase the number of retreats that we offered, and I think even more importantly, because being able to remove barriers to access for this is so important. And so we do have a scholarship and a sliding scale program for folks to attend these programs. And in our first year in 2022, we were only able to support 10% of our participants through that scholarship fund. But in 2023, this past year, we were able to support 36 of our.
That's an amazing growth in just a year, really, when you think about that.
And I need to give a good nod to one of our big supporters, which is the Seroptimus Noon Club here in town, gave us a grant this year that was really supportive, that gave us a great kickstart to get that scholarship fund going.
Not to try to be stereotypical, but I will be in some ways. There are certain folks that demographically need help because they're trapped. I mean, in some ways, they need to get to something like that. They just don't. They can't get to resources to get to you.
That's right. And a lot of people are not aware. In 2018, the Washington State did a health assessment. That's the most recent one that we have to work off of. And the statistics are based off of per capita. But here in Clallam County, we rank third in the state for the number of incidences of domestic violence, also for the incidence of people experiencing homelessness, and also for folks that score 3 or higher on the ACE scale, and that is the adverse childhood experiences. So those three things all kind of are directly connected.
And I bet you find folks are all three, right?
Yes.
That are needing your help or you're reaching out to help.
Definitely. And the leading cause of homelessness in women is domestic violence. So those things are all tied together.
Tell us a bit about your success, though, because this has worked. I know some people who've done your retreats just because and said this was the most amazing couple of days I've ever done.
The testimonials that we have from the retreat experience are amazing, beyond my wildest dreams of what we had hoped would come from it. Our goals are, we've got 5 basic goals. It is to reestablish the mind-body connection. It is to provide that education. It is to be able to build resiliency tools. It's to build community, and also to help our trauma survivors to discover what's known as post-traumatic growth. And all of those have been hit. The marks have been hit, and the testimonials are just amazing. So 100% of the people that have been through our retreats now, which is close to 60 different individuals, have shown marked improvement on all of our surveys that we do before and after the retreats.
Dana, you have put all of this together, but you do have help. You do have others who kind of check in with these. So tell us a bit about kind of how you present to groups when they come, say, to Nature Bridge.
So we're very, very fortunate. We also partner with another mental health services here in town, New Growth Counseling Services, right next to the library. And Rachel Hardy's has been one of our facilitators on our team. When we provide these retreats, we always have 3 different facilitators. Again, going back to those modalities that we have, I'm your nature connection coach. Then we'll have either Rachel or another gal by the name of Ashley. Those are our licensed mental health therapists that are there to provide that support. And then we also have someone that works in the life coach embodiment space there as well. And that's Julia Anderson. She's also another local, born and raised in Port Angeles. And she runs an amazing company called Peak Consciousness. And that's just a great, great organization to, again, help with reconnecting with your body, getting organized. So it's an amazing team of folks.
Can I insert something? Because I'm just curious. Maybe it's intended, but maybe it wasn't intended. But I get the feeling that, you also create support groups kind of by default out of these retreats. Is that a safe assumption?
So once we got rolling with the retreats, again, my goal is to remove the barriers to access for all to be able to participate. Everyone deserves to have equal access to mental health care. And so what we were noticing when we were doing our retreats is that sometimes some of the folks that would like to attend simply couldn't break away from work for a few days, or they can't find childcare for a few days, or perhaps they're just not ready to delve into a multiple day retreat like that. So we came up with the idea, and again, this is where our partnership with New Growth Counseling Services, Rachel Hardy's, Carrie Buse, has been amazing, because they were able to partner with us, provide space for us, and we have now developed a support group program. We just ran through our first series. Last night was our very last one in the 12-week series. And we met once a week, and we were up at New Growth, and the sessions were for 90 minutes, and we also provided free childcare. So these support groups, unlike the retreats where there was a fee to attend unless you were able to get through the scholarship program, this support group was 100% free to attend, and we also provided trauma-informed child care as well, which was all free for the women to attend.
Which is another barrier. I mean, essentially, there's a lot of folks who'd love to come to even something like that, but they haven't. What do I do with the kids?
Exactly, and to be able to afford child care and to be able to afford to come to a support group. And a support group is different than going to one-on-one therapy. You are in a community of like-minded folks who have had similar experiences where you can share your story, you can be heard, you can be seen, you can learn from one another. So it's just another arm of how we can support our community and folks that have experienced trauma.
All right, you're hoping for 3 more next year, is that right?
We are certainly hoping actually for 4. So we've got lots of grant applications out. We've got a fundraising campaign going on. So if you're curious and you end up on unboundedhorizons.org, you might notice in the top right-hand corner, there's a donate button. So if you want to support the cause, we are trying to raise $10,000 before the end of the year to be able to continue to support this program.
Mm-hmm.
The women, for sure, I can tell you from last night, would definitely like to see this experience be continued.
Well, and I just know for a fact you run this on a shoestring. You're doing this. This is a labor of love, really, I think, for you. And people need to realize that you've been there, done that. And you're just trying to help so many other folks in our area.
I appreciate you sharing that, Todd, because that is true. This last support group that we just did, we're so passionate about being able to provide the service to our community. We all just contributed our time for free. So none of us were compensated for anything that we did, and we actually paid out of pocket from Unbounded Horizons and also from New Growth to cover the child care for the women that attended.
Yeah. You have a tremendous backstory, and it's, I think, beautiful that we here in the community you share that as a teaching tool. But does this go back to you as well? I mean, I think because you just did what you did, you give to yourself, you must be getting something back from this by, putting all of this together as well. This might be just as good for Dana as it is for the people who attend.
There are many people that say in the healing journey, if it's not linear by any stretch, but we have the tendency to try to put it into steps and a progress chart, if you will. And so a lot of people say that the end of your healing journey is when you're able to start helping others. And that truly is just another stage of healing, is when you're able to help others. And so for me, I was born with a service driven heart. And so because of the experiences that I have gone through, that has only escalated my desire to give to my community. So what does Dana get out of this? Dana gets a very, very full heart and a spirit that soars as a result of seeing what has gone on with the people that have come through our programs. I mean, a couple of our retreat people from August, our August retreat group, all just got together for Thanksgiving. And these are women that would have been alone over the holiday.
There you go. So that's right there.
Mm-hmm. It's just amazing.
How it works. Although you don't have as much time now to do any of this running or things, these crazy things.
Don't you worry, I'm still doing the glow run on a Saturday night. I'll be out there in my Christmas tutu and my lights down there at the casino. I'm ready to go.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Before we run out of time, I want to talk about a bit, because this is a little more of a personal part. Just this week, you got some tremendous news that came from your cancer journey, basically. Tell us a bit about all of this. This is crazy.
I'm speechless. So you can hear I'm very eloquent, and then when we start talking about this, and I fall off the map. So it is just an amazing, amazing development. Just about 10 years ago in December of 2013, my cancer had come back after I'd had my leg amputated. And obviously, since I'd had my leg amputated, I pretty much threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at it before we did that. So I was pretty much out of conventional options. And so I had found a clinical trial that I started in December of 2013, and it had a miraculous impact on my tumor. And it really inspired me to become an advocate for that medication in my community. And so here we are 10 years later. It's been a long road. I haven't been on the medication for quite some time. I've been waiting for it, hoping that we would get FDA approval so that others would have access to this medication. The name of the pharmaceutical company that I've been working with is called SpringWorks. It's actually a spinoff from Pfizer. And the whole reason that they spun off from Pfizer was to develop this drug.
Just this, right?
Yeah. Yes, and to work with rare and orphan diseases. So a lot of times Big Pharma gets a bad reputation, and SpringWorks is a different type of pharmaceutical company in the sense that they have a very strong philanthropic arm to their work, and their mission is truly to care for the patients and to ensure that they provide all of the different resources that are possible. So it's been such an amazing journey to be able to work side by side with them and watch the development of this drug. And on Monday at 4:55 p.m. Eastern Time, the FDA sent over the email to SpringWorks to let them know that the approval had been made.
that?
And so now this is the very first FDA-approved medication for my type of cancer that's ever been available for anyone ever.
And once again, groundbreaker, Dana Lawson was right there when it started, basically.
Got to use my body for it to get it through the clinical trials and also advocated for it.
But it literally was a lifesaver for you.
Yeah, the name of the medication is called Ogsiveo. And so it's just an amazing, I'm so thrilled about the whole thing, and I just want to scream it from the mountaintops. So the type of cancer that I have is called desmoid tumors. And so that's what this one is specifically approved right now just for adults, because that's what the clinical trials were focused on. But I'm just amazing development, and can't wait to see where that gets to take our patients.
All right, Dana, you're just always you just light the room up. I love it. That's when you
thank
come
you,
in.
Todd.
And keep things going great with Unbounded Horizons. It's unboundedhorizons.org.
Yep.
Head on over there. Maybe give a little donation if you got a couple of extra, dollars rubbing in your pocket. They certainly could use it, and certainly they're doing great work for folks who are suffering from all kinds of trauma, especially those domestic violence victims and those in that realm, but really anybody that's going through a trauma. And Dana does a terrific job with putting all this together. And we'll do an update, I'm sure, again in a few months. All right?
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dana. Dana Lawson there. And we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk a little bit about Bloodworks Northwest when we come back right after this.
Building a future, sharing a dream, working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Something astounding awaits you at McCrory Carpet One in Sequim, Port Angeles, and Port Hadlock. All McCrory Carpet One showrooms have been remodeled, revamped, reorganized, and are even better and more luxurious than before. Bigger displays, more options, updated styles, colors, and trends. McCrory Carpet One is the #1 place on the peninsula for any and all of your flooring needs. Check out their beautiful new showrooms in Sequim, Port Angeles, and Port Hadlock. We all have that one item in our closet that we love but have zero idea of what to wear with it. This is where Bee Blossom Boutique in downtown Sequim comes into play. The stylists at Bee Blossom Boutique encourage you to bring in your favorite boots, jeans, top, hat, whatever, and they'll help you build a style around it. And since they have fashion for all body types, you'll get dressed to the nines at Fives pricing. Shop Bee Blossom Boutique, 161 West Washington in Sequim.
The holiday savings never stop at Swain's General Store. Christmas is less than a month away, and Swain's always wants you to save money on stocking stuffers and more. Then you can stuff those savings right back into your wallet. You'll see men's key jeans for a ridiculously low $14.87 a pair. Blowfish women's and kids' footwear is a whopping 25% off, and you'll save $10 on 400 solar LED string Christmas lights at just $39.87. Swain's Christmas sale is here, now through December 5th.
Hi, this is Hannah from Browns. The holiday season is here, and Browns is fully stocked up with great gifts for that hiker backpacker on your list. Whether you're looking for a headlamp, a day pack, gloves, or footwear traction for those icy morning trails, you can find everything you need for those winter outings at Browns. The holiday savings are on at Browns, but hurry, because these savings are only for a limited time. Browns Outdoor has been family owned and outfitting the Olympic Peninsula for like forever.
All right, welcome back to the program. Going to spend the next segment talking about the need for not only blood donations, but places to give blood donations. My next guest is Janie Larson. She's Community Engagement Liaison for Bloodworks Northwest. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you on the phone today.
Well, thank you for asking me, Todd. You even pronounced my title correcally. That's pretty impressive.
I have a very good producer who gets me straight very easily. So there you go. So the reason we have you here is that two things. I mean, this is a time of year we always talk about the need for blood donations in general. So let's start there first. Like any year, I'm sure there's, if you can give blood, you're asking people to please think about doing that.
Absolutely. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with BloodWorks Northwest, we're a not-for-profit, independent, and we've been doing this since actually 1946 under, different names, but, now we're BloodWorks Northwest, but we've been doing this for a long time. And with all the, advances in medical technology, it's just, we still need people's arms. We still need people to give blood. And statistically, every 2 seconds, somebody in this country needs a blood donation, needs a transfusion. So, and this time of the year, especially when we start getting into the holidays, I mean, we know people are busy. There's shopping and family time and all that fun stuff. So donations typically decrease around the holidays, but unfortunately, the need for blood never takes a holiday, so we still need people to come in and donate.
And certainly during the pandemic, there was a lot of impact on this as well. Are you still kind of recovering from that?
In some ways we are. That was really, for a lot of areas, the pandemic really impacted a lot, and it certainly impacted us. We couldn't use our blood mobiles during the pandemic, and it was not fun, to say the least.
And one of the issues, I think, like many things, it also got people out of a schedule of doing things. Maybe you had regular donors, they all of a sudden stopped, and then, getting them back into the groove, quote unquote, again, sometimes not easy.
That is a really good point, Todd. That's a really good point. And actually, statistically, only 38% of the population is eligible to donate, but only 10% of them actually do donate. And of those, not everybody donates on a regular basis. So it is important to get in the groove and stay in the groove. It's kind of whenever there's like a national disaster or tragedy or something, and where a lot of blood is needed very quickly. You always see people, lined up at blood centers, out the door, around the corner, down the block, which is wonderful. But what I really hope people will realize is that the people that need that blood during whatever the event is, they needed people to donate last week.
Right.
So, so we need to keep our blood supply at an adequate, safe level for everyone.
And that leads us to the other reason we have you on here in the next couple of minutes before we run out of time here. You're looking for ways to make it easier in places like the Port Angeles area to give blood regularly.
Yes, and my territory goes from Port Angeles all the way down to Tacoma, but and don't tell anybody this. So Port Angeles and Sequim are two of my very favorite cities because the people there are so supportive. And when I schedule a blood drive there, it fills up. I mean, it's just amazing the support that we get from these communities, and so we need more places for people to have, so we can have more blood drives there. And basically what we're looking at to have an inside blood drive has to be at least 1,000 square feet. And that means usable square feet, not if there's a bunch of furniture, along the wall or something, but at least 1,000 square feet, temperature controlled, meaning adequate heat in the winter and, hopefully AC in the summer, easy access to load and unload, and just really having it be available for a couple of days each month, every other month. We like to get in, you can donate blood every 8 weeks. So we try to set up our blood drives on that type of rotation. So if we can find a good location, we try to go back there every other month. So that's pretty much what we're looking for.
So I mean, if there's places like churches or, might have some sort of fellowship hall, that would work, I would think, right?
Exactly. We do. In fact, most of my venues are churches.
Yeah.
We, that's usually a very good place to host a blood drive.
All right. So 1,000 square feet minimum, and then temperature controlled, preferably, kind of a nice close by parking lot, easy to get in and out. And then I think the key here is it doesn't have to be available 7 days a week, 24/7.
Oh, no. No, not at all. Just a couple of days every other month.
Do you find in setting up venues, though, finding more unique spots can kind of be advantageous? You mentioned you have a lot of churches. That makes sense. I see that a lot. But maybe, there's like a retail center that has a spot, and that might be kind of a different place, and it might be more, quote-unquote, attractive for people to go to.
I am open for that, Todd. If anyone knows of any place like that, we do have. I know down in the Olympia area, they host blood drives at Kent Station, which is a retail area, and those do very, very well. So absolutely, because usually there's plenty of parking, and so that would be good if anybody has any inside information on any places like that.
Excellent. So here's what we'll do is we'll tell our listeners to drop you an email. That sounds like it's probably the best way, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's J. Larson, Larson, J. Larson at bloodworksnw.org. J. Larson at bloodworksnw.org. If you missed that, you can give us a call here at the station. We'll pass along Jeannie's contact as well. And perhaps you have a spot in your neighborhood that might fit the bill here, and we can get this a little bit easier to get places to donate, because that's the first step, right? You got to have a place to set up before people can actually come and do the donations.
Yes.
All right. Jeannie, good luck with it. Thanks for coming on, talking about this. Perhaps we'll get you a space or 3 or 5. It would be pretty nice.
That would be wonderful.
Nice little
Todd,
rotation
thank you
for
so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
You too. That's Jeannie Larson. She's Community Engagement Liaison for Bloodworks Northwest. And again, if you missed her contact and maybe you've got a spot that might be adequate and 1,000 square feet or so for a blood drive or a spot they can plop down at, give us a call and we'll pass along the info as well. We'll take a break, be back with more right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Hello, this is Amanda Huff with Swim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called natural organic reduction, or simply terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Squim Valley Chapel in Squim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Medicare open enrollment is here October 15 through December 7th, and if you're like most people on Medicare, you have questions. The statewide health insurance benefits advisors, known as SHEBA, can help inform you of your Medicare rights and options and see if you qualify for help with costs. SHEBA is a free, unbiased service provided by the Washington State Office of Insurance Commissioner. Get help today. Call SHEBA 1-800-562-6900 or visit insurance.wa.gov.
'Tis the season for celebrating. Come join the Royal BC Museum in Victoria for Winterfest, December 2nd and 3rd. Winterfest is a free, outdoor, multicultural holiday market bringing together the best parts of the season. You'll enjoy delicious eats, warm drinks, and live performances paired with local vendors for a one-of-a-kind holiday experience in Victoria. Winterfest, December 2nd and 3rd at the Royal BC Museum, Victoria. Go to royalbcmuseum.bc.ca.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. Governor Jay Inslee is in Grant County today, attending a ribbon cutting where a new battery manufacturing facility will be built. Sila, who is building the facility in Moses Lake, plans to produce proprietary silicon anodes to electric vehicle manufacturers. Those anodes allow electric vehicles to charge faster and also to travel further. Up to 500 jobs will be created at the plant. The governor also intends to meet with Habitat for Humanity to discuss the state's housing investments. Pierce County sheriffs looking for the person who planted a bomb in a tennis ball in what is believed to be a targeted attack. $10,000 in damage was done to the homeowner's truck as a result of the explosion. Authorities believe the attack was targeted because the home sits at the end of a dead end in Roy, an unincorporated part of the county. The person who planted the bomb also avoided the home security system cameras, leading the homeowner to believe he may know who planted the bomb. And skiers rejoice. Crystal Mountain Resort opening their ski slopes for the winter season. They will host a limited opening day event for pass holders on Friday, and then the general public will be able to take advantage of the slopes on Saturday. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app or visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I taught for 20 years, until I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit. Getting his early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard, but it gave us time to take control of the situation, together.
I can't imagine going through this without him.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the program. Going to talk a little football. We're right in the middle of the start, at least, of the NFL season. But let's talk about what happened before the football we know in professional football. The name of the new book out, Gridiron Legacy, Pro Football's Missing Origin Story. Greg Fitzgerald is my guest, and Greg has put together a wonderful book that has all sorts of photos and nostalgia, to say the least, looking back. And I guess, Greg, maybe the first thing I should ask is why did you decide to put this book together?
Well, thanks for having me, Todd. This is one of those fun stories where somebody finds a treasure in their grandmother's house or their attic, and yes, in this case, it was my grandmother's house.
Okay.
I grew up in Pittsburgh, which, unbeknownst to many, is the birthplace of professional football. A lot of people think it's Canton, Ohio, because that's where the Hall of Fame is. But the Hall of Fame is there because the NFL was founded there, not because pro football was founded there. And I inherited a treasure trove of pre-NFL photos from my great-grandfather's career as what he was called in some newspapers as the greatest center of the pre-NFL era. So it just sort of fell in my lap and became clear to me that this was something only I was blessed with and capable of doing. So I spent over 10 years researching his career and life as the patriarch of our family. And before you know it, the Hall of Fame was behind the project and encouraging me to combine the photos with the research and the narrative of why the history of the pioneers of professional football had been lost.
Yeah, and it's very fascinating. Anybody that I think is a sports fan, a history fan, or just a casual football fan, I think would really appreciate to look at some of this, because it's kind of crazy when you think about pro football then compared to what it is now. So take us to that first pro football league that happened there in the Pittsburgh area. There was like 5 teams, I understand, that were going at it.
Right, it wasn't quite an organized league, but yeah, there were 5 teams that became professional. They were really initially amateur athletic clubs that were all part of a national AAU, which we still have today, Amateur Athletic Union, in several sports. So it was a big deal for amateur clubs to send teams and individuals to compete in national AAU competitions. So clubs in Pittsburgh, football sort of gravitated there because there was a lot of money there in the Industrial Revolution, and they were willing to initially allow soft compensation such as club memberships or watches or food or whatever to get football players to come there, and the best college players had come out of the Ivy League. So they were in proximity, but the lure of competition and brought these guys there, and before you know it, somebody got paid.
Exactly.
So it was under the table at first because they didn't want to get kicked out of the AAU, but eventually the entrepreneurial spirit took over, and they said, we're going to forsake AAU competition, and people want to see the best players, and rivalries developed, so everybody was willing to pay a little more and outbid the other clubs for the best players. So between 1892 and 1902, they tried professional football in Pittsburgh, but they concluded that it wasn't going to work because they just weren't able to ever make any money at it. So that was the first era, but they also played other amateur teams and college teams. They didn't have enough pro teams to fill a schedule.
So then what happened next? I mean, take us kind of through the evolution to where we got to the National Football League we know today then, from that, for example.
Yeah, so after 1902, the spirit caught on in Ohio of professional football, and they were willing to pay, initially the first four professionals, like sort of ringers, to come out, again, sort of under the table in Massillon, Ohio, which was a great little town just next to Canton in northeast Ohio. And they got my great-grandfather and three of his teammates to come out from the World Championship team in Pittsburgh in 1902, who had beaten a team from Philadelphia for that title. And they had this little brother complex to Canton in Massillon, and they were willing to do whatever it took to beat them, and that's what they decided it would take. So they cleaned up against Akron in the state championship game in 1903, and then before you know it, everybody kind of figured out what they were doing and sort of paying these guys on the side. And so, again, all the best players started now coming to Ohio, just following the money. And so it really took off there, but Massillon would win every year from 1903 to 06, and that was a big transitional year. So, first of all, the rules changed dramatically after a lot of violence and deaths in the game in 1905. Yeah, more than 20 people died from football injuries in the amateur and collegiate level, not in the professional level. But President Teddy Roosevelt got involved and said that the game had to be cleaned up to make it safer, and he forced some rule changes through a committee that later became the NCAA, and they allowed the forward pass for the first time, and they created a safer offensive strategy. They outlawed this old flying wedge formation that was kind of a V-shaped formation that attacked the weakest players on the other side, 10 yards instead of 5 for a first down, things like that. And so in the midst of this burgeoning professional football popularity, the rules entirely change. My great-grandfather happens to snap the ball for the first professional forward pass, little fun fact, in a game for Massillon. But later in the year, everything all blew up in scandal when gamblers got involved and tried to bribe my great-grandfather, in a story I heard growing up, to get his team to fix the outcome of their championship games, the 2-game series with Canton. And the fallout from all that killed pro football for about 10 years until Jim Thorpe came around in 1915 as sort of the savior of pro football and was recruited to help start the next edition of the Canton Bulldogs. And people loved Jim Thorpe. Everybody came out to see him play. People became mad about pro football again for about 5 years, and that's when the new 14 professional team owners now across the Midwest got together in a car dealership in Canton, Ohio, and formed what became the NFL.
Exactly.
So that's sort of the trajectory of the pre-NFL era.
But, there's some crazy things, and you outline these in the books, too. I've got it, back to Massillon, and they had a blowout game. Am I reading this correctly? The biggest blowout in pro football history. It still stands, 148-0. First of all, how is that even possible?
How could that happen?
Right.
It's a popular question. Part of the explanation for that is that the rules at the time were sort of make it, take it, sort of like in basketball terminology. If you scored, you got to receive the ball again. So I guess, you didn't have to ever give it up. And if a real professional team was playing a really, unfortunate amateur team, sometimes they would just sort of allow, I think, hoping for a mercy rule.
Right.
They would stop games early, at halftime sometimes. But I think in that particular case, there was a word going around that they could set a record, and I think they just kept pushing for it, and I'm not sure how it was allowed to continue, but
that's just crazy.
That's my take on how that happened.
Although some people watching some college games, early on in the season might say, well, they could come close. But that's another story. Talk about, you mentioned that the Hall of Fame has gotten behind this book and really kind of urged you to get it going. So obviously, pro football as we know it is trying to embrace these early roots as well. So what do you think, how would some of those early players fit in with what is in the Hall of Fame now, the ones we know in Canton?
Yeah, it's a really important question, I think, and maybe what I at one point thought was maybe my purpose or mission in this whole project was to get the Hall of Fame to honor these pioneers of the pre-NFL era. And so when I went out and met with them in 2012, we had a good 3-hour meeting and showed them all my photos and initial research, and they were really amazed and very, very supportive and encouraging. They said, we don't have anything hardly from this time, and what you brought us is like finding an original constitution to us. That's a line I'll never forget.
Wow.
And so I said, well, what would be the chances of my great-grandfather being inducted in the Hall of Fame and with some of these other players from that era? And the answer was, well, technically it's possible because we're the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're not the NFL Hall of Fame. So it's within our ability to do that, but we don't feel at this time like we have enough information to differentiate the players from that era, and there's maybe a good 20 of them that are deserving, and we just need more information, but it could happen someday. So now we're 10 years later after that initial meeting. I think a lot of my work has contributed to supporting and identifying who those stars at that time were, and they're not ready yet. I've had another conversation with them last year, but they sound closer to wanting to do something like that.
It'd be great to see kind of a wing there at the hall that does take a look at these days. And it was formidable. You mentioned about some of the rule changes, the forward pass coming. You can't do the flying wedge anymore. What other things happened in that change there to make this game a little bit less deadly?
Well, the rules kept changing every year. There was a fellow named Walter Camp that was considered the father of American football. He was a former Yale player in the 1880s, 1890s, and he sort of took the lead as the head of these committees for decades. But 1906 was a really pivotal year. At one point, there became 4 down. It wasn't in 1906, but later they added a 4th down from 3 downs, which kind of explains why Canadian football still has 3 downs.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the original way. I guess pads, changed and evolved. They hardly wore anything for a good while, but that was never codified as a rule. Quarterbacks were allowed to run more. There were strange rules at different times with the checkerboard gridiron pattern on the field. Quarterbacks could only run out a certain 5 yards from where they got the ball horizontally, and so they got rid of that. I think the play just, the more that they got comfortable throwing the ball, initially the forward pass was a turnover if it was incomplete, so they weren't, it didn't make sense to try to throw the ball that much, but when that changed, it opened up the play some more, and it got more exciting, faster, and maybe less of a premium on pure girth.
Yeah, you're right on. The 10 yards in a cloud of dust, right? Yeah.
Right.
Wait, what was the feeling, fans back in those days, were there, the superstar players that we would know today? I mean, granted, it's a much smaller league and even geographically, but were there people that were, was there a Tom Brady of the day?
One of the guys is interesting, played with my great-grandfather on the 1906 Massillon Tigers, and his name was Robert Tiny Maxwell. And it's not a commonly recognized name today. He first started playing his college ball at the University of Chicago under a legendary coach named Amos Alonzo Stagg. He transferred after his sophomore year to the little school in Philadelphia called Swarthmore, allegedly because they called him Tubby in Chicago, and he didn't
like that.
He was sensitive. He didn't like it, and they called him Tiny in Swarthmore, so he liked that better. But when he went pro in 1906, he helped Massillon win that championship again. Short career then, because there was basically, again, no pro football for the next 10 years, but he was such a legend that the current Maxwell College Player of the Year award is named after him, which is probably the second most prestigious award after the Heisman Trophy. And nobody really knows who Maxwell is, and that's who it was. And he became a very prominent referee in the game after that, and also a sports writer, I believe in New York or Chicago. I think Chicago. So died young in an automobile accident, but he was highly revered and obviously still honored today with the Maxwell Club that is in Chicago that awards the Maxwell Award.
Greg, it's a great book, and I know it's been a lot of work, and you're still working at it, it sounds like, as well, but I would encourage anybody who's a sports fan, pick up Gridiron Legacy, Pro Football's Missing Origin Story. We just scratched the surface a little bit here, but Greg, I appreciate you spending a few minutes with our listeners about this.
Thanks very much, Todd. People can pick it up at gridironlegacy.com for a signed copy, and also on Amazon and other retailers everywhere, as they say.
Perfect. All right, we're going to take a break and wrap things up right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
This is Jonathan Pasternak, Artistic Director of the Port Angeles Symphony. Join me and 65 of our community's finest musicians for the Symphony's annual holiday concert, Saturday, December 9th at the Port Angeles Performing Arts Center. Come experience the thrill of live orchestral music while enjoying festive and seasonal selections, plus the return of our Christmas Carol sing-along. Our special guest artist will be guitar virtuoso Colin Davin, performing Joaquin Rodrigo's Fantasia para un Gentilhombre. Our holiday concert on Saturday, December 9th is the Port Angeles Symphony's most popular concert of the year, so don't miss out. Get your tickets today online at portangelossymphony.org, by phone at 457-5579, or in person at Port Bookin News in downtown Port Angeles. See you at the Symphony.
Sail away to Victoria, BC on the Coho to see the magic of Christmas at the Butchart Gardens. Stroll through the 12 days of Christmas displays with nearly 1 million twinkling lights from December 1st through the 31st. Overnight packages from $169 USD per person, based on double occupancy. Packages include ferry fare, a hotel stay in Victoria, and admission and shuttle to the Butchart Gardens. What a great gift for a loved one or yourself. Learn more at cohoferry.com.
We all have that one item in our closet that we love but have zero idea of what to wear with it. This is where Bee Blossom Boutique in downtown Sequim comes into play. The stylists at Bee Blossom Boutique encourage you to bring in your favorite boots, jeans, top, hat, whatever, and they'll help you build a style around it. And since they have fashion for all body types, you'll get dressed to the nines at Fives pricing. Shop Bee Blossom Boutique, 161 West Washington in Sequim.
'Tis the season for celebrating. Come join the Royal BC Museum in Victoria for Winterfest, December 2nd and 3rd. Winterfest is a free outdoor multicultural holiday market bringing together the best parts of the season. You'll enjoy delicious eats, warm drinks, and live performances paired with local vendors for a one-of-a-kind holiday experience in Victoria. Winterfest, December 2nd and 3rd at the Royal BC Museum, Victoria. Go to royalbcmuseum.bc.ca.
Swain's is full steam ahead with the newest sale, and the savings just keep getting better this holiday season. The first Christmas sale is happening now through December 5th. Our Northwest printed apparel makes a great gift at a huge 25% off right now. Men's merino wool socks are buy two, get one free. Now that's a bargain. Bogs for men, women, and kids are 20% off, and our Smokehouse Big Chief Smoker is a steal at only $149.87. These deals and more now at Swain's General Store.
The Port Angeles Fine Arts Center invites you to the Wintertide Festival of Lights. Join us in bringing light to Webster's Woods during the Community Lantern Walk. Enjoy a fire performance and new interactive art stations, food and drinks, holiday shopping at the Makers Market, and light art installations throughout the park. Join us on Saturday, December 9th from 4:30 to 8 p.m. at the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center. Get your tickets today at pafac.org.
Hi, this is Hannah from Browns. The holiday season is here, and Browns is fully stocked up with great gifts for that hiker backpacker on your list. We've stocked up on Hydro Flask, Bronwyn jewelry, and Sunski sunglasses for the gift-giving season. Have any travel excursions coming up for the new year? Browns has 20% off all rolling and carry-on luggage in stock. The holiday savings are on at Browns, but hurry because these savings are only for a limited time. Browns Outdoor has been family-owned and outfitting the Olympic Peninsula for like forever.
Stick out your tongue and say, ah, it's the craziest thing you ever saw. Here at Olympic Game Farm, they say howdy with a wave of a paw. Now it's hard to steer clear of the elk and the deer when they pop in to say hello. They've got lions and tigers and bears. Don't forget about the buffalo. It's impossible to stay calm. So come out with your dad and your mom. Canine and feline, you'll find us online at onlygamefarm.com.
News, sports, and information for the North Olympic Peninsula. We're Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles, Sequim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Hamas releasing more hostages to the Red Cross on this day 6 of a ceasefire agreement with Israel. One Israeli American is among the 10 hostages being released from Gaza in exchange for 30 Palestinian prisoners. Earlier today, Hamas freeing 2 Russian Israelis and 4 Thai citizens outside the framework of the deal with Israel. Relatives of those still in captivity waiting in agony.
Families of Americans being held hostage by Hamas told reporters that they will meet with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on Thursday as they advocate for the release of their loved ones. Ronen Nutra, father of Omer, an Israeli soldier being held hostage, told ABC News that a team from the FBI has been in close contact with their families since the October 7th attack.
ABC's Liz Landers in Washington. A House vote to expel Republican Congressman George Santos coming this week.
Time may be running out for Santos, who has stayed in office, refusing to resign after admitting to lying about much of his resume and personal story to get elected, and then indicted on 23 federal charges of fraud, theft, and lying to federal election officials. But the vote is controversial. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson expressing concern about removing Santos from office without him being convicted of anything.
I personally have real reservations about doing this.
Derek Dennis, ABC News.
President Biden in Pueblo, Colorado says clean energy means employment.
And all across America, instead of exporting jobs, companies, both foreign and domestic, are creating jobs here in America.
The president speaking at a huge wind tower manufacturer. Farewell to a former First Lady. 96-year-old Rosalind Carter was laid to rest in her hometown of Plains, Georgia. It's where she and former President Jimmy Carter lived before and after the White House. 99-year-old Jimmy Carter, who's in home hospice care, attended the service. They were married for 77 years. You're listening to ABC News.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now with more news, here's Dave Packer.
The Conservative Congressional Freedom Caucus at the Capitol issuing a warning today, pushing for fiscal responsibility. They're setting up a blockade in the House and the Senate that would prevent foreign aid from getting approved. Congressman Scott Perry of California alluding Ukraine should not count on any help in the near future.
The House is going to remain closed for business unless the country being supplemented is named Israel. And oh, by the way, these things have to be paid for. We're out of money, ladies and gentlemen, next month.
Other Freedom Caucus members today added only single subject funding bills and border money would get their approval. Police in Newport Beach, California say they're now investigating claims made against Oklahoma City Thunder basketball